At the dawn of the 20th century, humanity found itself standing on the edge of an electrifying transformation. The 1893 Chicago World's Fair had dazzled millions with its breathtaking display of electric lights, proving that the age of electricity was not just a dream, but an impending reality. Factories buzzed with mechanized energy. Cities expanded their electric grids, and the promise of universal electrification hinted at a world forever changed. The Industrial Revolution had already reshaped cities, economies, and lives, but it was electricity, the invisible force that promised to truly light the way to a new era. Streets would be lit at the flick of a switch, factories would hum with constant power, and homes would come alive with warmth and light. It was a promise of progress, prosperity, and unimagined convenience. Yet the path to this future was anything but clear. Two men, each extraordinary in his own right, stood at the heart of this revolution. Thomas Edison was already a household name, celebrated as the inventor who brought light to the world with his incandescent bulb. His reputation as a shrewd businessman and tireless innovator made him a symbol of American ingenuity. Nikola Tesla, by contrast, was seen as a mysterious genius, a man whose ideas often seemed to leap decades ahead of his time. While Edison commanded public attention with his pragmatic approach, Tesla was admired by those who dared to dream of a future unbound by convention. Thomas Edison, hailed as the Wizard of Menlo Park, believed in tangible, practical innovations that could be monetized and widely embraced. For Edison, the power of invention lay in its ability to turn a profit and meet the immediate needs of society. On the other hand, there was Nikola Tesla, a visionary from across the Atlantic, whose ideas often seemed more like the stuff of science fiction than reality. Tesla's dream was grander, to harness the forces of nature and provide free, limitless energy for all of humanity. This was not merely a battle of technologies, it was a war of philosophies. Edison's direct current, DC system, promised control, reliability, and steady progress, but was confined by physical limitations. Tesla's alternating current, AC, supported by the ambitious industrialist George Westinghouse, aimed to liberate energy itself, defying the constraints of distance and cost. Their rivalry would ignite what came to be known as the War of the Currents, a clash that not only determined the future of electricity, but shaped the very foundations of the modern world. Yet this story is more than a tale of competing inventions. It is a reflection of the choices humanity makes at every crossroads. Do we prioritize practicality and profit, or do we dare to pursue untested visions of a brighter tomorrow? As we explore their journey, we will not only trace the steps that led to this historic battle, but also dare to imagine, what if Tesla's vision had prevailed? What kind of world might we live in today? Thomas Edison, the practical inventor. Born in 1847 in Milan, Ohio, Thomas Edison's early life was marked by curiosity and a relentless drive to succeed. Despite having little formal education, Edison's inventive spirit propelled him into the spotlight and set him on a path toward becoming one of history's most prolific inventors. Edison approached invention with a hands-on practicality, always striving to create solutions that were not just innovative but marketable and accessible. His focus was on products that could quickly find their place in the everyday lives of people, making the extraordinary feel ordinary. His most notable achievement, the incandescent light bulb, revolutionized indoor lighting and paved the way for electrical systems. Edison's invention illuminated homes and businesses, transforming the way people lived and worked. Edison championed direct current DC electricity, a system that promised reliable energy but struggled with significant limitations. These limitations included the need for power stations to be placed every few miles, which made the system impractical for powering sprawling cities or rural areas. The high cost of infrastructure and limited reach meant that DC electricity could only benefit densely populated urban centers, leaving much of the country in darkness. This challenge underscored the need for innovation in energy transmission and set the stage for the War of the Currents. This challenge, however, did not deter Edison's confidence in his approach. Edison's relentless pursuit of innovation made him a celebrated figure of American ingenuity. His workshop became a hub of invention and progress, though his determination often came with a ruthless competitive streak. Edison was a man who believed that progress was driven by effort and enterprise, no matter the cost. Nikola Tesla, the visionary idealist. Halfway across the world, Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in Smiljan, a small village in modern-day Croatia. From an early age, Tesla's brilliant mind and photographic memory hinted at his extraordinary potential. His ability to visualize inventions in intricate detail set him apart from the start. Tesla's formal education in physics and mathematics gave him a unique edge in theoretical innovation. Unlike Edison, who relied on experimentation, Tesla could design complex systems entirely in his mind, often solving engineering problems without ever building a prototype. It was a gift that would both astound his contemporaries and alienate him from more pragmatic peers. In 1884, Tesla arrived in America with little more than a letter of recommendation and a head full of revolutionary ideas. His journey took him to Edison's workshop, where he briefly worked under the famed inventor. But their clashing ideals, Tesla's focus on visionary breakthroughs versus Edison's practical innovations, quickly led to a parting of ways. Tesla believed in harnessing technology for the betterment of humanity, while Edison prioritized inventions that could be commercialized immediately. Tesla envisioned a world where electricity flowed freely and wirelessly, an audacious dream that set him apart from his contemporaries. At a time when the very idea of transmitting power over long distances was revolutionary, Tesla's concept of eliminating wires altogether defied both technological norms and societal expectations. Many viewed his ideas as impossible, a reflection of his willingness to challenge the limits of human understanding and the infrastructure of the era. His vision was not just about convenience. It was about creating a world where energy was a universal right, unbound by limitations of infrastructure or cost. Tesla saw electricity as the key to unlocking a future of limitless potential, a future where innovation served humanity rather than profit. Tesla's journey was fraught with challenges. Financial hardships, skepticism from peers, and his relentless pursuit of perfection often left him isolated. For instance, the collapse of his Wardenclyffe Tower project, due to the withdrawal of funding from J.P. Morgan, not only shattered his dream of wireless energy, but also left Tesla in financial ruin and public obscurity. Yet it was this unyielding dedication to his ideals that secured Tesla's place as one of history's greatest minds. His name, though often overshadowed in his lifetime, has become synonymous with the kind of bold thinking that dares to change the world. War of the Currents. By the late 19th century, the world was beginning to illuminate. Cities like New York and London were on the cusp of electric revolutions, transforming how humanity lived, worked, and dreamed. Electricity was no longer a luxury, it was becoming a necessity. But the question was no longer whether electricity would power the future, but how. At the heart of this debate stood two rival systems: Thomas Edison's direct current, DC, and Nikola Tesla's alternating current, AC. What began as a competition of technologies quickly escalated into one of the most infamous rivalries in scientific history, the War of the Currents. The ethical controversies surrounding Edison's dramatic tactics, such as public demonstrations of animal electrocutions, and the sheer scale of their conflict, made this rivalry a landmark moment in the intersection of science, business, and morality. Edison's DC system had one key advantage: reliability. It provided a steady, constant flow of energy, ideal for powering small, localized grids. Factories, businesses, and homes could depend on its unchanging output to keep lights burning and machines running. However, it came with one major drawback. It could not efficiently transmit power over long distances. This limitation meant that to electrify a large city, countless power stations would have to be built, significantly increasing costs and complicating infrastructure. Tesla, working with the industrialist George Westinghouse, championed alternating current, a system that could transmit electricity over vast distances with minimal energy loss. Unlike Edison's DC system, which required power stations every few miles, AC could send power across hundreds of miles with minimal infrastructure. For example, AC's ability to light distant homes and factories from a centralized power plant showcased its unmatched efficiency and scalability, paving the way for modern electrical grids. AC's ability to step voltage up or down using transformers made it far more efficient for large-scale power distribution. It was a revolutionary concept, capable of connecting distant cities and rural areas to a centralized power source, effectively democratizing access to electricity. But Edison was not one to back down. The War of the Currents soon became a battle for public opinion, and Edison was willing to do whatever it took to discredit Tesla's AC system. He embarked on a series of highly publicized demonstrations, using AC to electrocute animals in an attempt to label it dangerous and deadly. One of his most shocking stunts involved the use of AC to execute a condemned elephant, a spectacle designed to instill fear of Tesla's technology. The event drew a horrified crowd and captured widespread attention in the press, creating a chilling narrative around AC's supposed dangers. This gruesome display cemented Edison's tactics as controversial, leaving an indelible mark on the public perception of the rivalry. Edison's aggressive tactics were as much about protecting his reputation as they were about defending his system. Despite Edison's smear campaign, AC began to gain traction. The 1893 Chicago World's Fair became a turning point, as Tesla and Westinghouse secured the contract to illuminate the event. As night fell, entire exhibition halls were bathed in a brilliant glow, and towering structures sparkled with electric light. Millions of visitors marveled at the seemingly magical display, a spectacle that redefined the possibilities of modern technology and silenced many critics of AC's potential. For the first time, millions of visitors witnessed the brilliance of AC lighting up entire exhibition halls and streets. It was a dazzling demonstration of what Tesla's system could achieve, effectively dispelling many of Edison's claims about its safety and viability. Shortly after the fair, the Niagara Falls hydroelectric project marked another monumental victory for AC. Harnessing the immense power of the falls, Tesla's system transmitted electricity over long distances, bringing light and energy to Buffalo, New York. This project wasn't just a technological triumph, it was a symbolic one, proving that AC could power the future on a scale DC could never achieve. The War of the Currents was more than a clash of personalities or technologies. It was a battle that defined the infrastructure of the modern world. DC faded into history as a niche system, while AC became the backbone of electrical grids worldwide. Cities expanded their reach, industries flourished, and the quality of life improved for millions as electricity became more accessible. Yet for Tesla, the victory was bittersweet. Though AC triumphed, the journey left him financially strained and overshadowed by the relentless commercialization of his ideas. The collapse of his Wardenclyffe Tower project, due to J.P. Morgan withdrawing financial support, symbolized his struggles. Once envisioned as a beacon of free energy for the world, it became a reminder of Tesla's inability to align his grand dreams with the commercial realities of the time. While Edison's name became synonymous with invention and success, Tesla's was often relegated to the margins of history, his contributions appreciated only in hindsight. The War of the Currents, for all its drama and innovation, ultimately reflected the broader struggle between visionary ambition and the pragmatic forces of commerce. Tesla's vision: wireless energy. With the success of alternating current secured, Nikola Tesla turned his attention to an even more ambitious goal: creating a world powered by wireless energy. He envisioned a future where electricity could be transmitted through the air, reaching homes, businesses, and industries without the need for wires or cumbersome infrastructure. This bold vision promised to revolutionize the way humanity interacted with energy and redefine the very concept of accessibility. Tesla imagined that energy, like air and water, could become a universal right, free and abundant for everyone. This idea directly challenged the economic and industrial norms of his era, where energy was tightly controlled by monopolistic utility companies. By proposing a system that bypassed traditional infrastructure and profit models, Tesla disrupted the established order, threatening the financial interests of powerful stakeholders and redefining energy as a public good rather than a commodity. Central to this dream was the Wardenclyffe Tower, a massive structure designed to transmit electricity wirelessly across the globe. Rising 187 feet into the sky, with its spherical top and intricate latticework, the tower was more than a technological marvel. Tesla believed that by harnessing the Earth's natural conductivity and the ionosphere, his tower could send power to any point on the planet. By transmitting electrical energy through the ground and the upper atmosphere, Tesla theorized that the Earth itself could act as a giant conductor, enabling energy to travel vast distances without significant loss or reliance on traditional infrastructure. Ships at sea, remote villages in the mountains, and bustling metropolises could all tap into a limitless supply of clean, free energy, erasing the divide between the privileged and the underserved. Tesla's confidence in his project was infectious, and his vision captivated many. Backed by the financial support of industrialist J.P. Morgan, construction on the Wardenclyffe Tower began in 1901 on Long Island, New York. Tesla's ambitious plans extended far beyond electricity. He envisioned the tower as a hub for global communication, capable of transmitting data, sound, and even images, decades ahead of its time. In an era when telegraphs were the pinnacle of communication technology, Tesla foresaw a future where information could travel instantly across the globe. This vision laid the groundwork for innovations like the internet, satellite communications, and wireless networking, proving that his ideas were not only revolutionary, but also prescient. The tower's gleaming structure, rising above the serene Long Island landscape, stood as a beacon of hope for a new era of technological progress. However, not everyone shared Tesla's optimism. Critics raised practical and theoretical objections, questioning the feasibility of wireless energy transmission. Could energy be efficiently transferred over long distances without significant loss? What impact might such powerful transmissions have on the environment or human health? For J.P. Morgan, the most damning issue was financial. If energy could be transmitted freely, how could it be monetized? This concern highlighted a recurring tension in technological innovation, the clash between transformative ideas and the economic systems built to sustain them. Tesla's wireless energy threatened to disrupt entrenched business models, demonstrating how economic interests can often stifle groundbreaking progress. As doubts mounted, Morgan's enthusiasm waned, and his withdrawal of funding left Tesla's project in limbo, unfinished and vulnerable. The collapse of the Wardenclyffe Tower project was a devastating blow to Tesla's career and legacy. Financially ruined, he was forced to abandon his ambitious plans, and his reputation among peers suffered. Over time, the tower fell into disrepair and was eventually dismantled in 1917, its materials sold off to pay Tesla's mounting debts. The site where it once stood became an enduring reminder of the fine line between vision and practicality. Yet, Tesla's vision of wireless energy endures. In the 21st century, concepts like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and wireless charging reflect the very principles he once championed. What was dismissed as science fiction in his lifetime has become an integral part of daily life. The Wardenclyffe Tower, though never operational, remains a powerful testament to the courage of dreaming big. His belief in the transformative power of innovation continues to inspire modern thinkers and inventors, reminding us that even the most audacious dreams can lay the groundwork for future breakthroughs. In a world increasingly shaped by wireless technologies and global connectivity, Tesla's philosophy challenges us to embrace bold ideas and pursue them with unwavering determination. His dream may have faltered in his lifetime, but its echoes continue to shape the modern world, pushing us to rethink the boundaries of possibility. Unintended consequences of wireless energy. Groundbreaking as Tesla's vision of wireless energy was, it raised complex questions about its broader implications. While the idea of free and limitless power promised to revolutionize the world, the potential unintended consequences of such a system were just as monumental. The ambitious dream of universal energy access came with a host of technical, societal, and environmental uncertainties that continue to provoke debate even in modern times. Tesla's vision offered hope, but also demanded careful scrutiny of its feasibility and impact. Implementing such a revolutionary idea would have required unprecedented technological advancements, such as developing mechanisms to manage energy loss during wireless transmission and ensuring compatibility with existing electrical systems. Moreover, the engineering challenges of creating a global network that could reliably deliver energy across vast distances presented significant hurdles. These technical barriers underscored the immense complexity of transforming Tesla's dream into a practical reality. One major concern was interference. A global wireless energy network would saturate the environment with electromagnetic waves, potentially disrupting existing communication systems and navigation tools. Early wireless telegraphy and radio systems, still in their infancy during Tesla's time, might have struggled to coexist with such a pervasive energy grid, hindering their development and reliability. For example, critical maritime and aviation navigation technologies might have faced significant obstacles. The question loomed, could a system designed to empower humanity inadvertently stifle other technological advancements and render critical innovations obsolete? For instance, the widespread presence of electromagnetic waves might have disrupted the development of early radio and telegraph systems, which relied on clear and stable frequencies. This interference could have delayed or derailed the progress of critical communication technologies, leaving industries and governments scrambling to find alternative solutions. Additionally, the creation of such a network might have required re-engineering entire communication infrastructures to ensure compatibility, presenting a daunting challenge for Tesla's era. Another challenge lay in the control and distribution of power. If Tesla's vision had exceeded, it would have required centralized coordination to ensure energy was distributed equitably and efficiently. However, such centralization might have created new forms of inequality or opened the door to monopolization by powerful entities. Questions of governance arose. Who would have the authority to manage a global wireless energy grid? Historical parallels like the regulation of early railroad networks and modern examples such as internet governance provide insight into the challenges Tesla's vision might have faced. These systems highlight the delicate balance required to prevent monopolization, ensure equitable access, and navigate geopolitical tensions. Would a global energy grid have required an international governing body, or could private enterprises have dominated its operation? The potential for conflict and inequity in such a scenario underscores the complexity of implementing Tesla's ambitious ideas. Could it become a tool of control, forcing entire populations to rely on a single system vulnerable to misuse or political exploitation? History provides numerous examples of technologies wielded for domination, and Tesla's system might not have been immune to such risks. Furthermore, tensions between nations vying for influence over such a grid could have sparked geopolitical conflicts, further complicating its implementation. There were also environmental concerns. While Tesla's wireless energy system aimed to eliminate the need for polluting infrastructure like coal plants and extensive wiring, the impact of large-scale electromagnetic fields on ecosystems was largely unknown. Wildlife, particularly species reliant on natural navigation like birds, bees, and marine animals, could have faced significant disruption. Would these creatures adapt, or would their populations decline, creating unforeseen ecological imbalances? For example, migratory birds that rely on the Earth's magnetic fields for navigation might have been particularly vulnerable, potentially leading to disorientation and population decline. Furthermore, the atmospheric and terrestrial alterations caused by sustained electromagnetic activity were speculative but potentially profound. Changes to the Earth's electromagnetic environment might have had cascading effects on weather patterns or atmospheric chemistry, adding another layer of complexity to Tesla's ambitious plan. In an age before environmental impact assessments, these considerations were often overlooked, but they remain critical in hindsight. Additionally, the safety of such an advanced system was under scrutiny. Critics speculated about the potential health effects of long-term exposure to high-frequency energy transmissions. Although Tesla's work was based on sound principles, the consequences of constant electromagnetic exposure on humans remained untested and highly speculative. Would chronic exposure lead to subtle biological changes or unforeseen health crises? Would entire populations unwittingly suffer from effects that scientific understanding of the time couldn't foresee? In Tesla's era, such questions were unanswerable, but the lingering doubts served as a cautionary tale for any untested revolutionary technology. The sheer scale and complexity of implementing Tesla's wireless energy grid might have created engineering hurdles unforeseen even by Tesla himself. Maintenance, scalability, and the energy requirements of the infrastructure needed to power the network might have created economic and logistical bottlenecks. For instance, ensuring uninterrupted transmission across varied terrains and climates could have required innovations that were decades ahead of their time. Moreover, how would governments and private entities collaborate to fund and maintain such a vast system? Despite these challenges, Tesla believed that the benefits of his system outweighed the risks. To him, the promise of a connected, empowered world was worth the potential sacrifices. He envisioned a future where humanity's ability to innovate and adapt would overcome any obstacles, creating a harmonious balance between technology and society. His dream was not merely about electricity, it was about the democratization of progress and opportunity, enabling even the most remote corners of the globe to participate in the technological revolution. But history reveals that great inventions often carry unanticipated costs. Tesla's dream of wireless energy, though never fully realized, forces us to grapple with these broader questions. How do we balance innovation with caution? Furthermore, how can we ensure that the benefits of such advancements reach all corners of society rather than amplifying existing inequalities? Tesla's vision challenges us not just to imagine the future, but to carefully consider the paths we take to get there. It serves as both an inspiration and a warning, a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. Will future innovations embrace Tesla's spirit of bold creativity while safeguarding against unintended harm? Today, as we explore new frontiers in wireless communication, renewable energy, and global connectivity, Tesla's ideas remain profoundly relevant, urging us to dream boldly while treading carefully. What if Tesla's vision had prevailed? Imagine a world where Tesla's wireless energy system became a reality. The success of the Wardenclyffe Tower catapulted humanity into a new era, transforming every aspect of daily life. With energy flowing freely through the air, the boundaries of what was possible began to blur, unlocking unprecedented advancements in technology, society, and culture. For example, entire cities could operate without the need for traditional power plants, allowing urban centers to expand sustainably and support advanced systems like automated infrastructure or climate-controlled public spaces, fundamentally reshaping how people lived and worked. This limitless energy altered the trajectory of civilization, enabling a paradigm shift unlike anything seen before. In this alternate timeline, Tesla's wireless energy grid eliminated the need for cables, poles, and traditional power stations. Cities were reimagined with open skies and sleek designs, no longer constrained by the clutter of infrastructure. Architectural innovation flourished as urban planners designed spaces optimized for human activity rather than industrial necessities. Public spaces expanded, and vertical gardens adorned buildings, blending nature and technology seamlessly. Rural and underserved areas gained immediate access to power, bridging gaps of inequality and sparking new opportunities for innovation and growth. In education, schools in remote regions gained the ability to utilize advanced technologies like digital classrooms and online learning, connecting students to resources and teachers worldwide. In healthcare, clinics and hospitals in previously isolated areas were equipped with modern equipment and reliable power for life-saving procedures, enabling improved medical outcomes and access to care. The cost of energy dropped to near zero, enabling a golden age of technological progress, economic prosperity, and widespread equality. Transportation was among the first industries to be revolutionized. Electric vehicles became the norm decades earlier than in our timeline, with wireless energy keeping them charged continuously as they traveled. Public transit systems became entirely electric, offering faster, cleaner, and more efficient travel options. Airships and planes harnessed the energy grid, soaring farther and faster without relying on heavy fuel loads, making intercontinental travel both economical and environmentally friendly. Entire fleets of ships and submarines operated without the need for refueling, opening new frontiers for global trade and exploration. Personal flying vehicles, once the dream of speculative fiction, became a reality, further redefining the limits of human mobility. However, this utopia was not without its challenges. Centralized control of Tesla's energy system raised questions of governance and power. Who would oversee this vast, invisible grid? What mechanisms would ensure it could not be exploited for control or coercion? Despite these questions, the vision of freely available energy helped foster an unprecedented spirit of collaboration among nations. Governments formed coalitions to manage the system responsibly, creating international agreements akin to those governing outer space exploration in our own timeline. While not without disputes, this spirit of cooperation drove humanity toward collective solutions to global problems. Ultimately, Tesla's dream represented both the best and the most daunting aspects of human progress. Could such a vision truly unite humanity, or would it magnify our existing divisions? This alternate reality challenges us to consider how progress might look if guided by both bold imagination and thoughtful responsibility. While it brought unparalleled opportunities for advancement, it also demanded careful stewardship to avoid misuse. Central to this alternate reality were the ethical questions posed by such transformative power. How should humanity manage a resource so vast and fundamental? Could we ensure that its benefits were distributed equitably, or would the same cycles of exploitation and inequality re-emerge in new forms? Would the dream of unity be enough to counteract humanity's proclivity for division? What do you think about Nikola Tesla's vision? Do you believe his wireless energy system could have changed the course of history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with others who are inspired by bold ideas, and subscribe to History Crossroads for more explorations of history's most fascinating stories.